announcing to you that he hopes to add the American French Service Committee database of complicit companies, the Who Profits Off of Genocide list of companies, and the Don't Buy Into Occupation list of companies. So thank you, Councilor Mbaugh, for that.
All right, so now we've grounded ourselves in why we are here, the history of this massive campaign of people power that continues to push historic wins in our country for Palestine solidarity, for boycott and divestment. And we are going to turn to where we go next and what we want out of candidates who are representing Palestine and Palestine solidarity. So our questions are going to begin. We'll switch off who starts with the question, and we'll be sharing that after the question is asked. And again, candidates, you'll have 2 minutes to speak, and Kamal will be our timekeeper. So, for our first question, we are going to be turning the mic over. Okay, great. We're going to be turning the mic over to Hala, who is a lifelong Somerville resident, a Palestinian American, someone who has been part of this advocacy and action for decades. So Hala, please introduce yourself, speak on how this all relates to you and your vision for Somerville.
Before I go in, I'm a lifelong resident, grew up here, went through the school system. I can tell you everything you need to know about the school system and then some. And didn't know I had 40 years of aggression about the school system. That's how I'm going to get out of school. I want to just, before I start my little speech here, just want to go back to what Sarah was saying about what happened to people. I was first, as an 11-year-old, going home from Palestine by myself because the person I was supposed to travel with was getting engaged, so he didn't travel with me back to Somerville. And in one trip in 93, so that was in 77, in 93, they stopped our taxi that we were in, and this was the first time I met, that was in 93 or 73. 83, I met all my real relatives. I went with my mother, and I said, please don't let them take my camera. Please don't let them take the camera, because I had 36 pictures on there I wanted to develop and see the family. So and then I'll tell you a recent story. The house that my dad was building, he died and couldn't finish it, so my brothers finished it. It just got burnt by the settlers in Termesaya about 2 months ago. So, and I'm going to tell you the history of how to do this work. In the 70s, my parents and my uncle were doing the work for Palestine with what they call COPINE, the Committee for Palestine in New England. We kept doing the activism also in the 80s and the 90s. In the early 2000s, I was a member of Somerville Divestment. I learned what to do and not to do to get a question on the ballot. Now, with my chosen family, Somerville for Palestine, with all of us working together, we got question 3 on the ballot. This means a lot to me because it makes all my work more meaningful. But I hope it also gives my family hope in Palestine. Somerville, you do love me after all these years. If this ordinance is actually used by the city of Somerville, this will mean a lot to me. I myself do the work for my great nephew, who's going to be born next month, who I hope will come into a better world and possibly see a free Palestine in his lifetime. So I do this work every single day of my life. I divest, and I yelled at whoever bought the Haagen-Dazs ice cream into my mother's house. Shame on them.
Thank you.